Nicola Kirk, welcome to Back to Byker.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Lovely to see you. You, of course, played the iconic Jemma Dobson. What a character. Byker Grove royalty, in my opinion.
Oh,
Five,
really?
oh, yes, for five series between 1990 and 1994. Tell me about how you got the part.
So I used to go to the Time Theatre Drama School with Casper Berry and Jill Halfpenny. So Jill and I joined drama school at about the same time. We used to go to dancing school together, so we've known each other. I've known Jill since I was about 5. So we joined the theatre school at the same time. She obviously got her part in Byker Grove, and then the casting director, I think it was Matthew. There was a few very serious looking people anyway. Came into drama school, kind of wandered around, watched what we were doing. And then afterwards, Jill and I were like sat talking. And they obviously knew Jill, came over to Jill, spoke to Jill, and said to Jill, "Is this your sister?" And Jill said, "No, this is not my sister, Nicola," because she's actually got a sister in real life called Nicola. They were like, "No, it's not my sister, Nicola, but it's just a friend of mine, Nicola." And they were like, "Oh, no, 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 we think this could be your sister." So from there, they invited me to the Mitre, and I went and read for the part of Debbie Dobson. But at the time, I was probably only like 11. And the part that they'd already written in for Debbie was too big, basically, for me to do, too many days of filming. So Matthew had phoned me up and said, "We loved you. We absolutely think you should be Jill Halfpenny, Nicola Dobson's sister. But because of this, we can't kind of give you the part of Debbie, but we'd like to write a part in for you." So then they sent round, I think at the time there was the writer and Matthew came round to spend, I always think of it as a day, but it was maybe just a couple of hours with me to get to know me and see what I was like. And then from there, they wrote in the part of Jemma Dobson. So yeah, that's where Gemma was kind of born, I guess.
Great. And actually, it really worked that there was three sisters, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it did in the end. And Gemma was the little annoying sister who was
Yeah.
kind of tagging round after the two of them the whole time.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think the thing was as well, because I'd known Jill Halfpenny for such a long time. We went to dancing school together. We lived pretty much in the same area in Gateshead. We probably had so many mannerisms and like the way we talked and stuff. So I think it really gelled as a little kind of, sisters. We all look pretty alike and stuff. I think it was pretty well cast, to be fair.
Yeah. When you do hang out with your friends, you do sort of like adopt their mannerisms, don't you? Yeah.
Definitely, and you know that thing of being in dancing school together and stuff. So yeah, so that's how I got the part. So yeah,
Great. How do you describe Gemma?
annoying probably to her sisters, especially in those early days. She was just constantly like, "Mum, I want to do this, I want to do that," but fairly confident. A little bit of a toe rag, I guess, at times. She got in with a couple of dodgy people. I don't know, like she used to hang around with Rory Gibson, and from there managed to. I think I was trying to think back now, and I was obviously doing this, and some of the storylines I had, and like at the time I just was like, is this really believable? Driving stolen cars and being a lookout on a ram raid, and you're like, I'm this tiny little thing, I'm barely 5 foot, and you just think, oh, okay, well, if you want to do this, let's go with it, kind of thing. So yeah, I think she was a little bit kind of naughty, but confident and yeah, annoying basically to sisters as well.
Yeah. I loved the dynamic between you and Debbie. I thought it was great. Yeah. How you always used to annoy her.
And I was going to say, and Nicola Bell is just so funny. I just always, she's funny. She's got this big laugh, and every time you'd film scenes with her, you'd end up like in stitches, the two of us, and then getting told off from Matthew, the director, and stuff. And it was just like, it was so much fun filming with her and Jill Halfpenny. It really was.
As well as your sisters, Gemma had a lot of storylines with a lot of different characters, like Lee, as you said.
Yeah.
Angel was our best mate. Gary, he went out with for a bit. Who was the most fun to film with?
It probably Vicky Taylor, Angel, because we were quite close in age and we were very, very good friends outside of Byker Grove as well. I mean, I was thinking yesterday, my mum once took me, Vicky Taylor, and Janie Hoy, who played Leah, on holiday. we were really, really close friends. So being on set together was good fun. But all of it was really, really fun. The stuff that I felt that was really out there was kind of the stuff with Rory Gibson earlier on, when I felt like I was really quite young and they were putting us in situations where we were like driving stolen cars and,
Mm.
it was quite random kind of
Selling
stuff.
dodgy tapes.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But
Did you
yeah.
have any particular storylines that you enjoyed filming?
In terms of in filming, because it was really difficult to think back about all the storylines, to be honest, but in terms of filming days, I just loved being in those Dobson scenes. They were just good fun to film. Tony Hodge and Leslie St. John, who played our parents, were just like full on parents to us
Mm.
and very, very sweet. And, those Dobson scenes were great fun to film. And a storyline as such, I don't know, it was kind of, I'm trying to think back at some of the storylines, to be honest. Obviously, towards the end, when I kind of filmed all of the videos that Gemma was recording before she dramatically died, like all of that was really kind of good fun towards the end. But yeah, none of them massively stand out. But the one scene, obviously, which we all know now, is obviously when PJ, because you see it over and over again, and that's the one where PJ got blinded. And, that's kind of a massive memory in that day of filming and stuff like that. It was I really enjoyed the ones where everybody was around and it was big groups of you all filming, because they were generally the ones that were fun, to be honest.
But didn't it take a long time though?
It did, yes, it did, especially because that was the points where you would always be laughing and joking and
Yeah.
forgetting your lines and stuff. But those were the days when you turn up and you think, oh, nice one, we've got loads of, general room scenes. So you just knew that everybody'd be around and it would be a really fun day of filming. I
Yeah.
think my thing is, I liked doing the stuff in front of the camera. It was good fun, but actually it was being there and it was being like with all your friends and
Mhm.
hanging out. It didn't really feel like a job, and that was the best bit about the whole thing,
Mm.
to be honest, and making some amazingly good friends from it.
Yeah, that's what I think about. Like when people say, "What did you like about it?" It was just being in the building and just with
Yeah.
all your mates, wasn't it?
It was, and that big, the Mater building, and it was such a big building, and you could bomb around the corridors and get lost and mess around and stuff. We were a bunch of teenagers. That's kind of what we did.
Yeah. You mentioned Gemma's death there. She did, of course,
Yes.
tragically die. She got electrocuted. That's a pretty shocking way to go, isn't it, for it? Pardon the pun. For
It
a children's drama.
it is very much so. But it's funny because I always remember Matthew. So obviously you get to like 16, and back when I was in Byker, it was kind of you hit 16, you became an equity, then they started to have to treat you like an adult and pay you like an adult kind of thing. And also it was a kids program, so they wanted kids cast. But Matthew, I remember, kind of pulled me into his office and he was like, okay, you're 16, pretty much time to go kind of thing. We wrote the part in. How would you like to see Gemma kind of exit? And I was very much like, well, if I'm going and I'm not coming back, I'd quite like to die. Like that, make a bit of a bang and leave, so everybody remembers it. And Matthew was like, okay. And I did say, I do not want to die of some kind of long drawn out disease where all my final 2 months of filming is me on my own in a hospital looking very pasty and pale and not having any fun. And he was like, okay then. And then all of a sudden I received my scripts and I'm like, wow, okay.
Oh, that's how you read it in your script.
Yeah,
Oh,
he didn't tell me. He just literally sent the scripts out after our chat, me
yeah.
saying I wanted to die. And I literally said, do it quick, kind of thing. And then, yeah, flooded house, dodgy wiring on a plug. And then that was it. She was gone.
Wow. And then what was your next move after leaving the show?
Well, when I left the show, I was in the process of doing my A levels.
Mhm.
So I finished my A levels, went to uni in Leeds, worked, did media in Leeds at uni, and then literally moved to London. I think and got a job as a runner at Channel 5,
Mhm.
basically. So like I think my thing was I loved being on set and looking around and seeing what everybody was doing, watching the runners and the directors and makeup. Everybody just looked like they were having a great time. Like it was just fun. You just think, how on earth do they all get paid to come and kind of do this?
Yeah.
And for me, that's kind of me going, I want to work in television. I want to do that. I don't want to sit in a boring office kind of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, did my degree in media. moved to London, worked as a runner, slowly worked my way up, and I've always worked in television.
Okay.
Basically, that's it.
And what are you doing now?
So now I am a production manager in sport at the BBC,
Mhm.
which I've done now for like 18 years. So I've been there a really, really long time. Kind of feels slightly ironic that I started at the BBC in 1990 when I was like 11 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I joined back to the BBC in 2007 as a production manager. And you think that's, feel like I've worked my whole career at the
Yeah.
BBC, basically.
You'll be getting a plaque on the wall or something soon.
I doubt they do that, unfortunately. I just, um, but yeah. So I've worked in sport for years, doing various things. To be honest,
Mhm.
a lot of a lot of motorsports I did early on, F1, MotoGP, and then I do a lot of football these days.
Yeah.
And I must say, I'm not a sports fan particularly.
No.
But to be fair, I don't need to be in my job particularly. But I do enjoy it, and I really enjoy. Although I might not massively have been into the sport to start when I started working in them, I actually, you develop a kind of interest in it, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And being like at a live event, it's a bit like being back on set at Byker, you just kind of pinch yourself sometimes and think, wow, somebody's paying me to be here. And, you stood pitch side in an FA Cup final and the teams are coming out. And, you just
Yeah.
think some people will kill for a job like that. And,
Mm.
it's not a bad day in the office as such.
No, it's great, isn't it? That I mean, a lot of people I've spoken to from the show who aren't in front of the camera now are still in the TV industry, and it's great that we. I mean, would you be doing what you do now if it wasn't for Biker?
I honestly don't think I would. I honestly think that it opened my eyes to like all those jobs. The only other job other than Baker and what I currently do now, kind of thing in television, was working in the tax office in Gateshead as my work experience when I was about 12 or 13. And I just thought, oh God, I just couldn't do that, like sitting in a boring office all day kind of thing. So yeah, Baker really opened my eyes to kind of what I could do and a different job and a different lifestyle. And like I said, I used to sit on set and just watch all of those kind of people in their jobs, and they looked like they really enjoyed themselves and had fun. And I just was like, yeah, I want to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of mostly done. I mean, I do have some boring sides of my job, but most of it is actually quite interesting and good fun.
Do people in your work now know that you were on the show?
They do very much, yes. I mean, they probably didn't initially when I first got there, but yeah, they do now. And I have new members, people joining our team and stuff, and they'll be like, "Did you know Nicola was in Byker Grove?" And literally within minutes, you've got your death scene up on YouTube, and they're kind of showing them around. Yeah, people do know I'm in Baker Grove. And
Yeah.
I currently, well, for years now, I've worked in football and I work with a load of ex-footballers. One Geordie one in particular. So Mr. Shearer,
Uh-huh.
I met him about 10 years ago. We were at an award ceremony. After the award ceremony, we were sat in the pub and I was saying, oh, I know some of your mates, basically. I know Anton Deck. And he was like, how do you know Anton Deck? And I was like, I used to be in Baker Grove. So he sent on his WhatsApp a picture of me and him with this award to Anton Deck saying, do you know this woman? And so they replied, we're like, yeah, it's Nicola Hewitt. And he's like, who's Nicola Hewitt? I was like, oh, that's me, it's my maiden name. Anyway, ever since then, Alan Shearer has called me Biker. So I've
Oh, really?
in football on set, like on our OBs and everything as Biker for years and years and years. So
Uh,
yeah, so most people generally know, and even like when we have new pundits join the the football team kind of thing,
mhm.
and I was like Biker, and then quite quickly they all just pick it up and they all just call me Biker. So yeah, everybody knows that I used to be Biker Group now.
What about in the street? Do you get recognized still?
No, no, not
You
really,
look the
but
same.
I know everybody says that. I do sometimes get people going, have we met before? And I'm
Mm.
like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I've had that for years and
Yeah.
years and years. Like you'd meet people or whatever you're doing, and it'll be like, have we met? And I'm like, I don't think so. And I never really say anything in that situation, but I do think, did you used to watch Break Grove as a kid,
Yeah.
kind of thing? Because
Have
I
you,
don't think I have changed massively, to be fair.
have
Yeah.
you been tempted to watch any of the series now that it's streaming?
Well, to be honest, I never used to watch any of it when I was younger. So
No.
like we'd watch the opening credits go. Obviously back then it was like everybody sat down in front of the TV to watch it at 5 o'clock or whatever. And literally as soon as I knew I was about to appear, I'd go and hide and watch like through the crack of the door kind of thing. I wasn't keen on watching myself. So no, I haven't. I haven't watched any of it yet. But I've got two children and they're like one of them's 14 and the other one's 11. And I'm like, you could watch Mummy on television. And they're like, no, thanks.
Not interested.
Not interested at all. At all. No, yeah. So I don't know. I might bring myself to do it one day, but I think because I never used to like doing it, I never used to like watching back then. I'm like, well, it's just a bit cringe. I don't know if I like it now. But having said that, I probably should because I just don't remember so much of it. Like in terms of storylines, when we were talking about that, it's just like so much of it. I just don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, I when I've been watching it recently, I'm like, there's some scenes I can remember all my lines. And then there's some scenes I'm like, I've got no memory of that happening at all. But we're so lucky that that's there if we do want to go and see it because we
Yeah,
wouldn't remember it otherwise.
no, I know it is funny now that it's back there and anybody can kind of go back and
Mm.
watch it because it's when I first left Byker Grove, that's when they used to do repeats. So when I first moved to London, it was like your repeats were still on like some of the Nickelodeon channels or Dave or whatever they are. So like you don't often see little bits of it kind of thing. And then for years there was nothing, and now it's all there to be seen by everybody. So yeah, I don't know. I may take a peek one day, kind of thing. I've seen my death scene, let's say that, an awful lot of times.
I bet, yeah. One last question. Do you remember who Gemma's favorite band was?
Oh, no, biscuit, something biscuit. I can't
Half
remember.
man, half biscuit.
Half man, half biscuit. I do. Somebody once said that to me. Oh, your favorite band's half man, half biscuit. I'm like, no, I don't even think I ever listened to them at the time. I should ask my husband though, because he's a bit of a musician. He loves music kind of thing, and I don't think he'd be keen on half man, half biscuit. But yeah, no.
Thank you so much, Nicola. This has been lovely.
It's lovely to talk to you.
We just went back to Byker.